In this video, we look at something so important. We look at the main reason, the main thing that is keeping people back, that is keeping them stuck, that is keeping them dwelling in doubt, anxiety, and free, and not going forward for what they want. Why they're taking one step forward, two steps back, why we keep being so insecure instead of going for the thing that we really want. We look at this hidden enemy that is hidden in plain sight, and that's holding us back from living the greatest life that we want to live. And by the end of this video, I will tell you what it is, but also what you can do about it. So let's go. And I want to start this video with this. Here's something that is so important. One of the greatest needs that we have as human beings is the need to remain consistent with how we see ourselves, our identity, our self-image. So what does it mean? It means we live by labels that we have identified with. We have created a box, a label, and we live by those labels. Imagine that you have a box and we call that box Tom, and inside that box you put all the labels, all the things I am, all the things I have, the quality, talents, abilities, desires, hobby, all the things that I don't have, all the things that I never have, all the things I'm worthy for, all the things I'm not worthy for, my past experiences, blah, blah, blah. And we sprinkle all of those labels, stories, and beliefs, and we close the box, and that box is Tom. And if you listen to Tom, when Tom introduced himself to other people, you'll see that, hey, I'm Tom, I have 2 kids, I'm an engineer, this is where I went to school, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is blah, blah, blah. Tom is describing all the labels that he has in his box. And if you keep on talking to Tom, after a certain while, Tom will tell you all the things that he would like to have. But he's also going to tell you all the things of why he cannot have them, or all the excuses, all the blames, or all the reason why he cannot have them, or he's not there yet, or what's holding him back, so to speak. And so Tom is describing his identification with his current self-image. And the reason why Tom is in his situation, where he is today, is because we are where we are in life because of who we are. And so why our self-image is so important, why this identity that we create for us is so important, is because we will never outperform our self-image. Why? Because we have a need to remain consistent with it. Now, the good news is that we can change our self-image, and we did change it, and you did change it. Through your life, through your experiences, who you are today is not the same identity as 5 years ago, unless you really stagnated in the last 5 years. But most likely you evolved, at least in certain regard, shape, or form, or some people completely transform. And when those big transformations occur in our self-image, usually a lot of things start to change in our life as well. So changing our self-image is possible and something we do. But the challenge is that in between the old self and the new self, there's a lot of resistance, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of self-doubt, there's a lot of insecurity, there's a lot of back and forth, because our old self is like fighting with that new self that we want to create. So the reason why so many people are holding themselves back, are insecure, are afraid, is because they identify so much with the labels, and they think that I am anxious, or I have anxiety, or I have this condition, or I have this fear, or I don't have this knowledge, I don't have those things, those talents, those abilities, or, I'm too short, I'm too insecure. We identify with all those conditions, all those thoughts and beliefs, and we become it, and we live by it, because we remain consistent subconsciously. All of this is happening, at the subconscious level. And so if you think like the amount of money you're supposed to make and you can make is this, and that making more money is going to be incredibly hard work, you're going to settle for where you are and what you have. And this can apply in so many different areas of your life. So your self-image is the foundation for all the decisions you make, the thoughts you have, the interactions you do, how you walk, how you carry yourself, and how you portray yourself. And then things happen is that when people start to go to a new direction, they want to start something new, they want to become more, because they want more, they want a greater life, we want to always grow and expand in some capacity. Then they start to feel fake. And this is something that happens very often when I talk to new coaches, aspiring coaches. And they tell me all their passion, they tell me their story, why they want to do it, who they want to help, and the knowledge and certification they have. But when it's time to put themselves out there in, and like going from obscurity into the light and telling people, hey, this is what I do, I can help you, if you have this challenge, like reach out, this kind of thing into the marketing, communication, and so on, they freeze. What are people gonna say? Who am I to help them? I mean, I've never posted this kind of content on social media. I mean, it's so different from who they were. That fear barrier feels like a gap, and it feels like they need a bridge to go on the other side. And so they do it a little bit, and then they step back. And they have this completely, like inner conflict going on. Because one part of them really wants to go, but the other part of them is holding them back. That is because they too identify with the old self and not enough identify with the new self. But eventually, if they persevere, they're gonna shed off and die to the old self and recreate who they really are into a new version of themselves. But then again, that new version is not really who we are, because we are not our body, we are not our thoughts, we are not our emotions, we are not our beliefs. As Yoda said in Star Wars, we are not this crude matter, luminous beings we are. And so when you can shed, those false beliefs and perception, and one way to really stop living by the old self is to stop identifying with those labels you gave yourself, with those beliefs. How do you stop identifying with yourself? You stop seeing them as being true. If you believe that you are a slow learner, that your metabolism is too slow and that's why you cannot lose weight, notice that all those labels, that I am anxious or I have anxiety, and this is something I see and hear a lot of people using. As long as you identify with it, how could you be anything else? Do you see what I'm trying to say? As long as you identify with something, you are not something else, and you will remain consistent with that thing. So when you notice that you are not your thought, you are not that belief, there is a bigger truth. That attachment that you have to that identity starts to shatter. And now you start to become free to redirect your energy into who you want to be, how you want to express yourself in this cycle of your life. So how do you go? What's the solution then? Really what I'm trying to help you understand is to become aware of your own current self-image. Because as long as those identification labels and beliefs are holding you back, it's going to be difficult, because as long as you think subconsciously that they're true, they're going to fight against any form of opposing conflict or opposing belief or opposing goals that you may have. And it's the conflict often involves the old self and the new self. Often it's the old self that wins, simply because there's so much more energy and emotion in the old self than there is in the new self. So become aware of your current labels. Notice the words, the sentences, the labels, the I am that you're using, the I have not. And then start writing down on paper, who do I want to be? If I were to live my ideal life, who would I be? What would I have? How would I be? My I am, I have, and so on. And then start moving toward that new version of yourself. Start identifying yourself with that new version. Start taking steps. Start breaking some of that fear. And when you notice that clash between yourself, remind yourself of that new identity every single morning. And when you do that with repetition and consistency, before you know it, you'll forget about the old self and you embody the new self and the result that comes with it. And if you need help, there's so many videos on this channel on how to change your identity, how to change your self-image, how to remove limiting beliefs. I even have a 30-day program that takes you every single day, one lesson a day, 10 minutes a day, one practical tool a day to get you out, to help you step into the new self, but also to release those old beliefs, those old things holding you back, the stress and anxiety. So you can check that as well in the link down below if you're interested. But the most important is to create that awareness and to realize that that identity that you created, that box and those labels are not who we are. And that alone can bring tremendous peace, because that alone gives you permission to change the box, to change the labels, and to become greater, and to start claiming the rewards that go with it. So let me know what you think of this video, guys. I will see you in my next video. Be well. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. See you.